Okay, this is Decent for We the People. Again, there ain't no more I can say, except that I'm not an attorney. It's always a good idea to have an attorney if you have no knowledge. This is just a learning video of what's going on behind closed doors for we the people to stick together against the outside forces upon us. If anything is against the Constitution of the state or federal, then it's not supposed to be here. And they cannot force us into consent lawfully, from what my understanding is. So let's proceed forward on this.
The matter from this morning, Your Honor, State versus Robbie Estabrook, case number 16CR11512. Mr. Estabrook is present, not in custody, Your Honor. Mr. Estabrook asking for clarification. I had mentioned on the record earlier that he was pro se. He can test that back, so I would just represent for the record that he is appearing without counsel.
If there hasn't been entry of an order on his ability to represent himself, perhaps that ought to be the first thing.
Your Honor, I do have a waiver of counsel form in my file. I will show it to Mr. Estabrook first, just so he knows what I'm showing the court.
Okay, and this is something which I had a motion to strike this document because I didn't wish to give up any of my rights. And I did not sign that. I wrote my name because that was the only way I was going to be able to get out of jail as far as I understood.
Well, if you do not wish to waive counsel, then I'll set this for further proceedings and can come back with counsel or apply for court-appointed counsel or make a waiver at that time.
Do I have the right to assistance of counsel that is not licensed by the plaintiff?
I'm sorry.
Do I have the right to assistance of counsel that is not licensed by the plaintiff?
You have the right to counsel who is admitted to the bar of the state of Oregon.
So is that a no?
That's what that is.
But
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is the plaintiff in this matter the state of Oregon?
The plaintiff in this matter is the state of Oregon, that's true, but you have only the right to be represented by court by someone who has a license issued by the Supreme Court of the state of Oregon.
So then the answer is I don't have the right to assistance of counsel that is not licensed by the state.
You do not have the right to assistance of unlicensed counsel, that's true.
Okay. And am I presumed innocent of all elements of these charges?
Until proven guilty at trial.
Is that unless or until?
Unless and until.
And is jurisdiction an element of the charges?
It need not be proven. It need not be specifically proven. It does need to be true, but if it's not, if you...
Okay, it needs to be true, but does not need to be proven. Why is that? The jurisdiction is the one that's causing you harm. So you have the right, and this is where we get confused at. We have the right to know about the jurisdiction. But it doesn't need to be proven? Does that make any sense to y'all? Lost my train of thought there for a second. So far, she's ignoring all the factual evidence. Let's verify this one thing. Licenses are by states. Okay? So when they say they have license from the bar, that's not actually a license. That is a membership card. They go by license because it sounds better to we the people, but in all actuality, there is a separation. license is from the government entity. So if they're not part of the government entity, what they call a license is not a license. Okay? Just like the press. Okay? They say they have a license, but they cannot be licensed because the government cannot license it to them, because that's under the First Amendment, right? What it is CNN, okay, makes a card saying this, okay? They just verified their press. But it's not actually a license. It's not a credential, okay? It's just a deal that they made up. But in all actuality, I guess you hear it on the videos all the time, you don't need a license, and that's the exact same thing with an attorney. Now explain this to me. You go through all these college classes and you pass with straight A's. Why do you need to take a test for a bar? And I believe the bar deal that lawyers and judges came up with, one of the first states, it was 27 states that created this bar, and I believe it was in 1920? I had to get my date off. I don't remember what it was, but when I looked it up, it wasn't by the government. This was a deal for them. And somehow or another, they end up with authority over we the people, over a non-government proceedings, or, a non-government bar member. But we did not always have a bar. And again, I may be off on my date. So if we lived all these years before there was a bar member, why can't we live all the rest of these years without a bar, right? This was later up in the 1900s. Okay? So, this is their little deal of protecting themselves and putting us inside there. Okay? Now, argument's sake, they don't even have authority to say what jurisdiction they have, because they are not, at this point, part of the United States. They are part of a membership, a union, which enhances the 1938 foreign registration. Okay? You guys can look that up. They are actually supposed to have filled out a Foreign Registration Act, and they don't do it. The reason why they're supposed to file a foreign registration is because they are not part of the United States. And I'm using these United States in short for y'all, okay? Because they put their own jurisdiction in there. Okay? Anyway, I'm going to proceed forward.
Challenge jurisdiction, and you need to file a motion challenging jurisdiction, and a court will decide that.
May I just have a yes or no to the question, to the clarification, please? Is jurisdiction now?
You have the answer I've given you.
So I'm not entitled to a responsive answer to relevant clarifications?
No. I'm not here to be examined by you. I am, as a courtesy, telling you the information. And if you don't understand...
That's another thing right quick. I apologize. Why do I need a bar counsel when I can have someone that's went through the law school, right? And went through everything and passed it? Why couldn't I have a counsel that's never become a bar member? Riddle me this, right? I went all through all the classes, but because they're not a bar membership, then they don't classify council to be legal or lawful when themselves are not legal and lawful.
I'm saying I didn't do anything about your lack of understanding.
I'm simply attempting to seek clarification as to the cause and nature of these proceedings. I'm not asking questions. I'm just asking if jurisdiction is an element of the charges.
And I have told you, it is an element that if you wish to challenge jurisdiction, you file a motion to do so. It is not something that has to be proved at each stage of the proceedings without having any appropriate procedure to initiate that question. So it is an element, but it has to be proved only when it is challenged in an appropriate fashion at an appropriate time.
I have, on March 29th, I submitted a motion to dismiss, as well as a motion to vacate the involuntary not guilty plea that was entered on the prosecutor's behalf on March 1st.
Why don't if you're not going to take any action on the waiver, so that I can't accept a change of plea, then what I will simply do is set this down for trial, and you can raise any other issues at that time. This is a trial readiness proceedings. It is not a time in which I try to answer all of the questions you might have. If you wish to be represented by counsel, that seems like a good idea, but that's up to you. If you wish not to be represented by counsel, then you must waive representation.
Do I have the right to a fair and meaningful hearing today?
I am telling you things. I am not submitting to an interrogation of the questions you wish to answer.
Objection, these are not questions, these are clarifications.
Great. Okay, we'll set this down for trial.
Objection, I do not wish to do a trial. I would like to enter a plea of guilty. That's my goal.
And Your Honor, for the record, just so everything's on the record, because obviously I cannot offer Mr. Estabrook legal advice, so I want to take this opportunity on the record to explain that the state tendered the pre-petition paperwork to Mr. Estabrook for him to review on his own and in his own time. At this point in time, given the different issues he has raised to the state, I do not believe he is prepared to enter a plea today. Because of that, the state is requesting call dates of 8/28 for trial dates of 8/30. I spoke with Mr. Gibson. He had indicated the earlier dates I requested were full. 8/29 for 8/30.
Objection, point of clarification. I am attempting to enter a plea today and get this matter resolved today. I'm simply seeking clarification on whether or not has the prosecutor submitted evidence establishing jurisdiction, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, and
I have given you several opportunities. I'm not going to waste time. I'm not playing games. This isn't a game.
I'm aware.
You've been given paperwork. You said that you earlier waived counsel, and now you say you've withdrawn that waiver. I'll respect your withdrawal of your waiver of right to counsel, but that means that I can't accept the plea unless we go through that process first. We've run out of time for this kind of gamesmanship, sir.
Objection, I'm not attempting to play games.
Ultimately, that date I selected is also now full. So if Mr. Gibson would just tell me what days would be good, and I'll let you know if they'll work for the state.
Earlier, the prosecutor told me that she did not know if there was evidence establishing jurisdiction, and I'm just wondering how you are aware of this evidence if the prosecutor is not.
Boom!
What dates do we have?
I'm simply asking for clarification on this because you have stated on the record that...
Have you noticed that I am the judge and you are the defendant? I am not subject to cross-examination at any time you wish about anything you wish. I have answered any legitimate question. We are going to proceed with this process because I have other things on my docket than play foolish games.
I'm not attempting to play a foolish game. I'm being threatened and brought here against my will, and I'm attempting to resolve this matter today. I'm not attempting to cross-examine you. I'm wondering, Miss Roberts, are you under duress at this moment?
something.
Ms. Roberts, are you under duress? I believe there is evidence that you may be under duress at this time.
9-1 for 9-6.
Are
Mr.
you-
Estabrook,
are
does
you-
the trial date of 9-6 work for you?
No trial date works for me.
I understand.
I'm
Okay,
attempting
we'll
to
set it
enter
for
a
trial
plea.
then.
I'm attempting to enter a plea today. I have not been arraigned, and I object to these proceedings going this way. I am not attempting to have a trial. I have motions on the table, and I have clarifications on the table, and you are not addressing them. And I'm wondering, are you acting without prejudice today?
And, Your Honor, I'm going to submit for the record, I'm going to show Mr. Estabrook the paperwork, which has been scribbled out a few times, but it indicates a call date of 9-1 for 9-6. Obviously, the parties are not doing anything requesting these dates. The state is requesting them.
Yeah, state would request a further proceeding date of August 23rd.
Okay.
And I will state for the record that the judge is non-responsive and is claiming that there is evidence of jurisdiction having been submitted by the prosecutor when she has not even had the opportunity to see evidence, and that she
I
is...
told you that she doesn't have to prove jurisdiction on evidence every time she appears in this court, and your proceedings is not special for that reason. The process of the court will continue. You've been held in, I see that you've been held in contempt of court before. It can happen again.
Is it contemptible to ask for relevant clarifications?
It's contemptible to impede the process of the court. We're here for a simple process, which is to set trial dates or take a plea. We are not here to discuss jurisdiction. We're not here to deal with any pending motions you have. That's not the process for which we have proceedings right now.
Well, I'm attempting to enter a plea today, and like your
That
law
you are
says...
not cooperating with the processes by which we can enter a plea. I've explained to you several times.
Cooperating? This is the court's not cooperating, right? He legitimately has a right to know the jurisdiction. They're not telling him. They keep saying they don't have to, but how can they bring charges upon you if there's no jurisdiction? Once again, they're dancing around. He's just wanting the facts. This is the mind games against we the people. And more we recognize these things and what they're doing against us guilty people until proven innocent, how can we fix the problems?
I'm not have to do it again. You either have waived counsel, and I can accept a 9-1 plea, or you have not. You say that you rescinded this waiver of counsel. That means you have not waived counsel. That means that either you come back with counsel, or you waive counsel. You can get counsel appointed for you if you cannot afford to hire counsel, but you need to apply in that case to the office across the street for appointment.
They really want him to get counsel because counsel would give them jurisdiction and they could proceed forward. However, as of this point, they cannot proceed forward.
Counsel.
How can I obtain a fair and meaningful hearing if counsel has to be licensed by the plaintiff?
I assume that's a rhetorical question.
It's not.
I have told you what the law is.
And I'm also asking, how can you adjudicate this matter when you're paid by the plaintiff?
Color law, not what law is. And when they say law, it's not lawful. Law is color.
Okay, we have done what we need to do today.
And Your Honor, for the record, I'm tendering to Mr. Estabrook a copy of the date selected. Mr. Estabrook has the plea petition paperwork. Should he choose to enter a change of plea to the state, I know he has the email address for several members of our office, so that can still be done for the proceedings date. But for now, Mr. Estabrook has a copy of the court paperwork.
Why can't I
Okay, I
enter a
gotta
plea
sign it
today?
before we do that.
Oh, Yes, you did, Your Honor.
Sign it.
Well, let me add something to it. I want to reflect on this order that he has said that he has rescinded his waiver of counsel.
Objection, I never entered a waiver of counsel in the first place, so how can I rescind something that I never authorized? Would you please clarify to me how it is that you are saying that I rescinded something that I never authorized?
Boom.
I would like to state for the record that the judge is assuming jurisdiction in this matter using her opinion and not facts and evidence.
Boom.
The prosecutor has not shown that she has established jurisdiction in this matter, and the court is proceeding without jurisdiction.
You can place that on the record for the record.
Are you under duress because you gave
I'm
by
not
the
under
plaintiff?
duress, but you now must leave council table. We've got other proceedings that are following.
So you're threatening me?
Well, I'm not saying anything other than the fact you do have to leave there. I will tell you what the consequences will be if you do not vacate council table now that your proceedings are over.
Okay.
You know what those consequences will be?
I do not.
I would hold you in contempt of court, and I would ask the sheriff to take you into custody.
Okay. Then I will voluntarily leave.
Okay, thank you.
How can they threaten him without jurisdiction?
They are true. We're asking for the
Right? They don't have jurisdiction, so how can they take him to jail if they don't have jurisdiction? All right, this is Diesel for We the People. This was a long video. I apologize. Bye.